Okay, Gary? The regular meeting of Bucyrus City Council for January the 15th, 2019 is called to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
McKeever. Myers.
Here.
Wireball.
Here.
Truca.
Here.
Sack.
Here.
Vogt.
Here.
Schott.
Here.
Before you have the minutes of the January 2nd, 2019 special meeting. I need a motion to accept those minutes.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sack, second by Mr. Myers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you. This is where we grant permission for visitors to speak. If anyone would like to address council tonight, we ask you to step up to the podium. No one? Okay, thank you. Moving on, communications and petitions.
We have two letters here. The first is from the City Planning Commission, dated January 4, addressed to City Council regarding the reappointment of Mr. Robert Thiel to the Planning Commission. Dear Council President, Mr. Thiel's current term on the Planning Commission has expired as of December 31st, 2018. I have approached Mr. Thiel about serving another term on the Commission, and he has indicated a willingness to do so. We ask you to consider the approval of the reappointment of Mr. Thiel to serve another 6-year term on the City Planning Commission. Thank you, Mayor Jeff Reeser, Chairman Planning Commission, and that needs to be referred to the Economic Development Committee.
Okay. I need a motion to refer this to the Economic Development Committee.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Vogt. All those in favor to send this to the Economic Development Committee for the appointment to the Planning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you.
We have a communication dated January 14, 2019 to Bucyrus City Council. At the meeting in December, Council and the Administration addressed my concerns over the city's contracted AEP energy rate being higher than the rate of not being in aggregation. From the Telegraph Forum article stemming from that meeting, it seems that there was some doubt as to whether my claims of my non-aggregated rate actually being lower than the city's contracted rate were true or not. A few of the council members responded to me wanting to see my bill history. I am providing the last 3 years of my electric bill to you all the following link. Also, I have made a chart with this data over the last 3 years showing the non-aggregation rate versus what the city's aggregation rate is. I have verified this information to be accurate multiple times, but please double check and show me if I am in error on this. But it appears the city's aggregation rate over a 3-year period of time is definitely higher. I hope you are able to see by this information that I am not making false claims here, and I go back to my original question, which was not answered, as to why is the city trying to sign me up for a rate that is higher than if not in the aggregation plan. I am submitting this email to the council clerk before noon on the day prior to a regularly scheduled meeting, so I hope this is put on the agenda for the meeting tomorrow. Thank you, Kurt Frankhauser, Wavelength Communications, 1675 South Sandusky Avenue. And there is the 3 years of bills are attached to this.
I need a motion to accept and file this.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Myers, second by Mr. Vogt to accept and file this. Thank you. Standing committee reports. We start with, who goes first here? Mr. Vogt gets to get us started today.
All right, Bucyrus City Joint Regular Committee meeting Thursday, January 3rd, 2019. Called to order at 6:02 p.m. Members present: Mark McKeever, Kevin Myers, Dan Wirebaugh, Bruce Truca, Monica Sack, myself, and Andrew Schott. Up first, Bucyrus City Joint Regular Committee was called to order by myself at 6:02 p.m. Number 2, we had public participation. Jenny Vermillion, 515 Hill Street, said there's a lot of log debris in the Sandusky River just west of the Tiffin Street Bridge. The administration will be notified. Number 3, order of committee business. Up first, Economic Development Committee was called to order at 6:03 p.m. We have the subcommittee appointments in your packet. I'll read. Called to order at 6:03 p.m. Members in attendance: Monica Sack, Dan Wirebaugh, Mark McKeever, and myself, Chair. Number 1, subcommittee appointments. The 1-year terms of Mark McKeever and Andrew Schott to the Volunteer Firefighters Dependents Fund Board expired on December 31st, 2018. McKeever and Schott agreed to be reappointed. Wireball made a motion to that effect with a second by McKeever. Motion passed by voice vote. The 2-year term of Bobby Carter to the Airport Commission expired on December 31st, 2018. Carter has agreed to be reappointed. McKeever made a motion to that effect with a second by Sack. Motion passed by voice vote. Both matters will next be voted on by the full council. Vote recessed Economic Development Committee at 6:06 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding the minutes? If not, then we have appointments that we need to do for Mr. McKeever and Mr. Schock to the Volunteer Firefighters Dependents Fund Board, and that's for a 1-year term, and then a 2-year term for Bobby Carter to the Airport Commission. I need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Wireball, second by Mr. Foat. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you. Moving on, Planning Committee, Mr. McKeever.
Yes, planning committee met Thursday, January 3rd, 2019, started at 6:06, ended at 6:07. Members present, Monica Sack, Bruce Truca, Kevin Myers, and myself, Chair. Number 1, zoning change regarding veterinary offices. A public hearing was held on December 13th, 2018 to consider a proposal to amend codified ordinance section 1173.02 in the city's planning and zoning code to allow veterinary offices, not including outside boarding of animals, as a permitted use in the general business district. There were no objections to the proposed amendment at the public hearing. Myers made a motion to request legislation approving the amendment with a second by Truca. Motion approved by voice vote. We discussed the planning committee at 6:07.
Questions or comments regarding the meeting? No? Thank you. Moving on, Finance, Ms. Sack.
Finance Committee met Thursday, January 3rd at 6:08 to 7:18 p.m. Members present, Kevin Myers, Andrew Schock, and Dan Wireball, and myself as chair. Number 1, employee manpower. Auditor Joyce Schiffer explained that the salary lines for the Civil Service Commission needs to be changed to reflect the 2.25% raise for 2019, in line with that given to other city employees that's included for this commission in this year's budget. The 2019 salary for the Civil Service Clerk would change from $4,000 a year to $4,090, while the 2019 salary for commission members would change from $1,200 a year to $1,227. Schock made a motion to request legislation so changing the salary lines for the Civil Service Commission and the employee manpower ordinance retroactive to January 1st with a second by Wireball. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 2, supervisor manpower. Mayor Jeffries distributed data from 2017 Ohio Municipal League wage survey showing that the average annual service safety director's salary in cities with roughly the population of Bucyrus is $77,500. Currently, the maximum salary for the city service safety director in 2019 is $68,057.65. Research suggested it be raised to the survey average, noting that the service safety director also serves as park director, has many responsibilities, and manages about 100 employees. Any increase will be spread over 4 funds. It was noted that the city's contract with AFSCME will be up for renegotiation this year, after which various non-union salaries may be adjusted to reflect any changes in a new contract. After considerable discussion, Schock made a motion to request legislation raising the service safety director's maximum salary for 2019 to $71,000, retroactive to January 1st. Myers seconded the motion, which passed by voice vote. Wireball voted no. Number 3, street levy renewal. The street levy, which dedicates a tax of half of 1% on income over 6 years to street maintenance and repair, is up for renewal this year. The administration wishes to place a renewal of the existing tax on the ballot in the May 7th primary election. For that to occur, the Crawford County Board of Elections would need legislation passed by council no later than February 6th. Myers made a motion to request legislation to put a renewal of the existing street levy tax on the ballot for May 7th primary election, with a second by Wireball. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 4, elected official salaries. The positions of mayor, auditor, law director, council president, and council person are up for election on November 5th. By law, current office holders cannot give themselves a pay raise, so any raises being considered now could not take effect until 2020 2020 to 2023 for the 4-year terms of mayor, auditor, and law director, and until 20 to 21 for the 2-year council positions. Petitions to run for these offices in the May 7th primary must be turned into the County Board of Elections by February 7th. A consensus emerged that the salary for the auditor's position should be raised beyond annual cost of living adjustments to bring it more in line with that paid to auditors in other Ohio cities of similar population. It was also emphasized that at least minimal raises for all positions to keep up with inflation instead of freezing salaries where they are would prevent the need to catch up with larger increases in the future. After considerable discussion, Chalk made a motion to raise the auditor's salary to $51,000 for 2020, $53,000 for 2021, $55,000 for 2022, and $57,000 for 2023. To raise the mayor's and law director's salaries by 1% for 2020 to 2023, and to raise the council president's and the council person's salaries by 1% a year for 2020 and 2021. Wireball seconded the motion, which passed by voice vote. Number 5, staff recess to finance committee at 7:18 p.m.
Okay, any questions or comments regarding the minutes from the meeting? Okay. You want to finish out the sign?
Number 4, public participation, there was none. Number 5, staff asked for a motion to adjourn the joint regular committee. Motion by Foat and second by Myers to adjourn at 7:12 p.m. Motion passed.
Thank you. We don't have any minutes for anything from the traffic commission. Are there any traffic issues that you'd like to bring up to the mayor this evening? That's gonna happen.
Give me a license plate.
Okay.
Is there
Mr.
another
Myers?
traffic meeting scheduled?
We don't have one scheduled. We have really nothing on the agenda right now. So nothing scheduled.
Mr. Wireball?
Yeah, I've been getting complaints about, people not finding places to park, people over parking. The issue was, the one I just heard about was a lady was gonna pay her, property taxes and couldn't find any space at the 15-minute spots there. So I don't know if we need to, I don't know what you gotta do to correct that, but.
Okay, any other comments? None? Okay, I need a motion to accept the committee minutes and the related committee reports collectively.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Truca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. We have the report of city officers. Mayor Reeser?
Thank you, Madam President. Our report for the night. We hit the ground running, like I mentioned at the last meeting. It's been a busy January. We're halfway through it. We had 2 meetings here at City Hall last Thursday. First was the ODOT-led meeting downstairs in the lobby. That had to do with the North Sandusky paving project. Approximately 20-25 residents attend the meeting, and we'll be taking comments for several more weeks, and then we'll respond to all comments by early March. Representatives from ODOT and our engineering firm, Branstetter Carroll, were present to greet residents and answer questions. There was a large group of elected officials there too, and thank you all for showing up for that. At 7 o'clock, we had a meeting in council chambers. That was an invitation meeting, but of course it was open to the public. It was on Group 1 and Group 2 sewer project that's going to go on as part of our EPA mandated project, and that lasted about an hour. A lot of good questions, and Branstetter Carroll took care of it. Took the lead in that meeting too. We taped the January 2019 edition of the Mayor's Roundtable. It's already out on Access. Gary had that out on Friday. Thank you very much, Gary, for doing that. We're waiting for that to be on the website, so it should be on the website today or tomorrow. Two guests that were very informative. Computer Supervisor Mike Kalb. He explained the different charges that make up the utility bill. And I know it's a bad habit of me, I call it the water bill too, just because that's what we did, but it's actually a utility bill. There's about 5 lines of different utilities on that bill. The water part is just one portion of that bill. And Mike explained what the charges were and how they were figured out. And Mr. Wagner, our Safety Service Director, went into greater detail in the second part of that program. And basically what we try to do is explain why the water rates have gone up. And we went into pretty good detail on that, and the water portion, actually, the stormwater portion is going up. And it's, the reason is, maybe what it comes down to is that, you know, if you buy a new car or you have a mortgage on your house, we do have a new water plant, has a mortgage on it. And it's gonna be for 18 and a half more years, and it's gotta be paid for with user fees, unless somebody generous in the community drops about $20 million in our lap, then we can pay it off right away. So if that doesn't happen, then the user fees have to make it up, and we all pay the same thing. The reason was that for 12 years prior to the building of that, Bucyrus residents, including myself, enjoyed artificially low water rates. Water rates were not raised for 12 years. That would have been a good time to plan ahead and put a little money back, but we didn't do that. So stormwater rates have increased because the EPA mandated order to separate stormwater from sewers. You know, we have to clean up our water. You know, we have too many overflows in this community, and we were able to negotiate a very favorable program with the EPA through our engineers and through our law director. But our goal then is to have zero, to as few overflows as possible in the future. One day that's going to be complete. We're well on our way to it, and when that happens, future administrations of the council can look at the rates and see what they want to do with them at that time. We go into greater detail. I would encourage everybody to tune in the Access channel, or I'll post it on Facebook and on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube and also on Twitter when it's on our website. If you have any questions during the year, just call us. You know, we can meet with you or respond to emails. We're happy to do that. Any questions? And so finally, yesterday was a big day. My wife and I were proud to represent the city of Bucyrus and residents at the inauguration of Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted. It was a very, very moving day. Met a lot of good people there, a lot of nice people from all over the state, and just had a great time. Governor DeWine has pledged prior to being inaugurated to improving the relations between local communities like us and the state, which has been suffered under the Kasich administration. So we all know we lost some money, especially in the state taxes that were eliminated, as well as local government share. So Governor DeWine actually mentioned this in his inaugural address, that he's going to be above all, he said he would listen. The times I've talked to him, I've been his ear on that, and he seemed very, very interested. As you know, he's a very fine leader and a very humble man. I think he's going to be a great governor. Did want to mention that Bucyrus has a connection to the DeWine Husted. You know what that connection is? What is it?
Tina.
Tina Husted is from Bucyrus. Yeah. So we're proud to have her.
Colonel Crawford graduate.
Colonel
correct?
Crawford graduate. And that's all I have for tonight.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Anyone have any comments, questions for Mayor? Okay. Moving on, we have the Service Safety Director's report.
I did want to make one mention that there was no cost to the city. My wife and I attended that. It was not done at taxpayers' expense. I'll just let you know that. So, yes, for Mr. Wagner, referrals, we would like to refer the Group 2 sewer project to the Planning Committee and Finance Committee, the Mutual Aid Agreement to the Health and Safety Committee and the Finance Committee, and the AEP agreement to the Service Committee. And AEP then will give an update on smart meters that are going to be installed in the spring. Number 2, we have a lot of people use our sidewalks, and we had a pretty hefty snow here over the weekend, and remind residents, landlords, you are city ordinance, you must clean your sidewalk. Just for be a good neighbor and certainly for safety. I noticed over the weekend, I had some neighbors out on Plymouth Street shoveling those brand new sidewalks. It was really nice. It was really nice to do that. But there was also a lot of people on Plymouth Street that didn't. I saw people walking on Lane Street, in the street actually, and it's not safe. So please be courteous and shovel your sidewalks. We don't want to have to fine anybody, but we do need to make sure that we are safe there. Number 3. Civil service testing is coming up, and we'll start taking full-time employment applications on January 18th. 2019 to February 22nd, 2019, with testing on March 3rd, 2019 for labor positions. Starting wages are $15.46. Applications will be at the mayor's office. And finally, the water distribution garage is, as you know, is up for sale. And the bids will be open this coming Friday, January 18th, 2019 at 10 a.m. in the mayor's office. And that's all for Mr. Wagner's report. Thank you.
Okay, question, Mr. Truca?
Kind of fell into my trap a little bit here. That's what I was gonna bring up. When I go to work in the morning at 6:30 in the morning, the school kids were having a hard time walking on city sidewalks on East Mansfield Street. The sidewalks on both sides of East Mansfield Street underneath the railroad tracks, under the viaducts, they're not shoveled.
We met with Norfolk Southern in December about not only cleaning it up and taking care of the sidewalks and also painting the overpass, which are in desperate need of some paint. We're still working with them.
No, but I mean, can the city crews shovel the sidewalks underneath the underpasses?
Yeah, we'll get our guys.
Because right now,
They do what they do is they do the streets first, then they come back and do the bridges by hand.
okay, well, as of this morning, then we're still,
Okay, I'll make sure,
there's no question.
I'll make sure that gets taken care of.
And I got another question. I had approached Mr. Wagner about that same night that we had at open house,
Mhm.
and I asked him in advance about the water haulers had gotten a hold of me, and they wanted to know what was going to transpire with their increased line, and he said Mr. Wagner said you'd get with John Ernsberger and have information for us at this meeting.
I have nothing, but I'll talk to him tomorrow. We'll check your emails tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, and now our bulk sales have been very strong. So when I asked John about, we had any complaints about delivery time, he said they haven't had any. So the changes we made last year really helped out quite a bit. But I know they're planning to increase that line. That is in the plan. So I'll get that to you tomorrow. Okay.
Mr. Myers?
On the topic of sidewalks, I agree with you, Mayor, that keeping the downtown sidewalks and sidewalks throughout the city are important. Can we find a way to make it more of a priority for our own sidewalks? The art park was not shoveled until this morning. So
The art park, yes.
if we're gonna expect the other business owners, I think we need to find a way to make sure.
Yeah, I mentioned to him last week when we had lighter snow and ice, they put salt down in the art park.
Yeah, the exterior along
More,
Rensselaer.
I know, we could do a better job in the art park.
They weren't touched until this
No
morning.
doubt about it, so. Well, the snow hit Saturday, and, it seems like every major snowstorm the last couple of years has hit on Saturday, Sunday, and the other. So, agreed. Yeah, we all can do a better job, including the city.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Pope?
Just in a sense to reiterate what Mr. Truca said, I actually have do insurance for one of the water haulers, and he was just in my office this week, and he had mentioned the same thing to me that Bruce had just brought up. They are looking for that other 3-inch line to come in, because they said that the fix that we did when we took the valve out increased their time by about 10 minutes, but they're looking to get back to where it was when it was at the old plant of a 10-minute fill-up, basically, so.
Okay, I'll check tomorrow. Todd sent out a little statement from Jeff and John.
Okay, anybody else? I'd like to make a comment. On the civil service testing, there's more than one position available.
Yes, and.
We have several positions.
Are you interested?
No. No, I'm not. But I just wanted to reiterate that there is more than one position
Yeah,
available, so
right,
please,
yeah.
what we do is, we carry a list of eligible people, and we work our way down the list as we hire people, so.
We went through the last list pretty quickly. We were able to offer jobs to 3 people, 1 turned it down, we hired 2, and 1 lasted 2 weeks and quit, and went back to his old job. And so out of that, we have 1 new employee, and so we need more. We're shorthanded, you know, that's been the whole problem. With the civil service test, I mean, here it is all the way testing until March 3rd. We can't really start interviewing until probably the middle of March, so we're looking at, you know, if they give a 2-week notice, probably April 1st before we get anybody in there, so, but,
These
want more,
jobs,
yeah,
these
yeah.
jobs do include benefits, as do
Yes, they do.
the other
From day
positions.
1, you get benefits, it's
Yeah.
hospitalization, vacations. I mean, the city offers really good benefits. And, you know, please consider it. So, the advertising will be on the city website, on the Access channel also. So, please apply.
Yes.
We've always had 10 or 15 people in the past. This last time we had 6, so we're gonna try and do a better job of, you know, getting at least 10.
Okay. Okay, we have some referrals then. The Group 2 sewer project needs to go to the Planning Committee and Finance Committee. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
That was Mr. McKeever and second by Mr. Foat. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Mutual aid agreement to the Health and Safety Committee. This is for the fire department. Okay. And to the Finance Committee. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Foat, second by Mr. Schock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. And then finally, the AEP agreement to the Service Committee. There will be someone here at the February 7th meeting from
Yeah,
AEP.
I think it's first.
And this is a 50-year agreement that's expiring now, and they need another agreement. So this is something that's, yeah, brand new. I don't
May
think.
never see it again
I
in my
wasn't even
lifetime.
there. I wasn't even there for that one. Okay.
I might not even hang around long enough to see that one come back
Okay,
again.
but we need this to go to Service Committee, so I need a motion,
So
please.
moved.
Pardon me, Mr. Myers?
Second.
Mr. Myers, and second by Mr. Schock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Thank you. Moving on to the Law Director, Mr. Ratliff.
Thank you, Madam President. Don't really have anything going on, so. We almost had a Bucyrus' Most Wanted. We were getting ready to bring it back because we finally had one, but, they got it.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for the Law Director this evening? None? Okay. Moving on, Auditor, Mrs. Schiffer.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a couple of referrals this evening to the Finance Committee. First one being the Enterprise Fund reimbursements for 2018. And also we need a general fund appropriation in the Police Department contractual services in the amount of $20,000. This is for a grant received from the Adam H. Board for the Quick Response Team Project. This is to help addicts get into recovery, whether they get sent to rehab or whatever it takes to get them help.
Okay. Is that something that we've had before?
No, this is something new.
Something new? Okay, great. Any questions about either one of these items? If not, I need a motion then to refer to Finance Committee, the Enterprise Fund reimbursements for 2018, and also $20,000 appropriation of monies received from the Adam H. Board. I need a motion.
Second.
Mr. McKeever, motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Wireball. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Madam President, do we need to make a change since it's enterprise fund reimbursements and it only says enterprise reimbursements? Is that gonna cause a problem?
I don't believe so.
Want to make sure.
Okay. Motion passed. We got a nonsense. Anything else from the auditor?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, before you, you have the auditor's statement of cash position that's dated December the 31st, 2018. I need a motion to accept and file this.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Schock, second by Mr. McKeever. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Thank you. Before you, you have the treasurer's report for December of 2018. It's been submitted for your review. we'll take it up for discussion at next meeting. We have nothing from the police chief, nothing from the fire chief. I need a motion to accept the city officers' reports.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Foat, second by Mr. Schock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. This is the time for visitors' input regarding reports of standing or special committees and of city officers. Does anyone wish to address council this evening?
You've been buzzing along so fast, it's hard to keep up.
I know, we moved through this. The discussion items are generally in the meetings on Thursday evening when we have the committee meetings. That's when most of the discussion and everything that you heard, all those minutes read this evening, that's what generates this meeting where we pass legislation. So they each serve their own purpose. Okay? Anyone else? For consideration of proposed legislation for the first time.
We have 6 pieces of legislation, 5 ordinances, and 1 resolution. Ordinance number 1, 2019, repealing and replacing ordinance number 15, 2017, establishing the compensation and human resource staffing, sick leave, and vacation of employees in various departments in the city of Bucyrus, Ohio, and enacting in its place legislation pertaining to the compensation, sick leave, and vacation of the service safety director, city engineer, utility service superintendent, utility superintendent, filtration superintendent, and wastewater superintendent, said employees not presently covered by present or contemplated collective bargaining contracts affecting employees of the city of Bucyrus, retroactive to January 1, 2019, and declaring an emergency. That is referred to finance. Ordinance number 2, 2019, repealing and replacing ordinance number 55, 2018, establishing the compensation and human resource staffing, sick leave, and vacation of employees of various departments in the city of Bucyrus, Ohio, and enacting in its place legislation pertaining to the compensation and human resource staffing, sick leave, and vacation of employees of various departments in the city of Bucyrus, Ohio, retroactive to January 1, 2019, and declaring an emergency. That's referred also to finance. Ordinance number 3, 2019, amending and supplementing Bucyrus Codified Ordinance, section 1173.02, entitled Permitted Uses, under chapter 1173, entitled GB General Business District, under Title 9, entitled Zoning Districts, under Part 11, entitled Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Bucyrus. That is referred back to the Planning Committee. Ordinance number 4, 2019, establishing the salaries of the mayor, law director, auditor, president of council, and council members effective January 1, 2020, and declaring an emergency. That is referred back to finance. Ordinance number 5, 2019, amending and supplementing 1, Section 2, entitled Imposition of Tax of Ordinance number 57, 2003, levying a Bucyrus city income tax, and passed in its original form on December 30, 2003, and revised thereafter from time to time, and 2, Section 16 thereof, entitled Effective Period, to provide, subject to the required approval of a majority of the electorate at the next primary election on May 7, 2019, for a levy continuing for a period of 6 years of an additional 0.5% tax on income effective July 1, 2019, with the entire proceeds generated therefrom throughout aforesaid 6-year period from and after July 1, 2019, to be exclusively used for the construction, general improvement, and continued maintenance, repair, and upkeep of public streets, thoroughfares, and alleys, curbs, gutters, catch basins, and wheelchair ramps within the city of Bucyrus, as well as the purchase of such street equipment and machinery as may be deemed necessary to accomplish same, and declaring an emergency. That is referred to finance. Resolution number 201, 2019, directing the Board of Elections of Crawford County, Ohio, to conduct an election at the primary election on the 7th day of May, 2019, within the city of Bucyrus, Ohio, on the question of whether a 0.5% increase above and beyond the 1 1/2% city income tax should be continued uninterrupted for an additional 6-year period, commencing July 1, 2019, the proceeds generated therefrom throughout the aforesaid 6-year period from and after July 1, 2019, to be exclusively used for the construction, general improvement, and continued maintenance, repair, and upkeep of public streets, thoroughfares, and alleys, curbs, gutters, catch basins, and wheelchair ramps within the city of Bucyrus, Ohio, as well as the purchase of such street equipment and machinery as may be deemed necessary to accomplish same, and declaring an emergency. That is referred to finance.
Okay, I need a motion to accept this as the first reading.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Myers to accept this as the first reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Ordinance number 1-2019 is referred back to Finance Committee. Ordinance 2-2019 is referred to Finance Committee. Ordinance 3-2019 is referred to Plating Committee. Ordinance number 4-2019 is referred to Finance. Ordinance 5-2019 is referred to Finance. And resolution number 201-2019 is referred to Finance. This is the time for public participation. Any member of the general public may present their input or comments on legislation that has been read for the first time. Does anyone wish to address council regarding the legislation for tonight? None? Do you need to read? Pardon me? If you'd step to the podium, please. State your name and address.
Kathy Fuller, 1107 Saxon West Avenue. I was just wondering about the $20,000 that you would consider for appropriations for the drug and alcohol. Wasn't that added to our property taxes? Did everyone see an increase in property taxes on your last bill?
I believe there was an increase in property
And
taxes.
I think a lot of that
But-
was that ADMH,
The Adam H. Board?
I think it was.
Okay. This $20,000 is a grant that's being given to the city, correct?
Oh, it's just like free money, just.
Yes, they're giving money to the city
Okay.
to work with this, yes.
Okay, I was just questioning that when that
No.
came up, I thought,
No.
well, that was just on the property tax,
No. Something else entirely.
just questioning that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need to recess this evening? No? Okay, committee reports on pending legislation. Finance Committee?
Finance is favorable to ordinance 1-2019 supervisor manpower. Finance is favorable to ordinance 2-2019 the employer manpower. Finance is favorable to ordinance 4-2019 elected official salaries. Finance is favorable to ordinance 5-2019 street levy renewal. And finance is favorable to resolution 201-2019 the street levy renewal.
Okay, Planning Committee?
Planning Committee is favorable to ordinance number 3-2019, the veterinary offices zoning amendment.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to accept this report.
So moved. Sorry.
Motion by Mr. Schock, second by Mr. Truca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. For further consideration of pending legislation, for the second and third readings of proposed ordinance number 1-2019, which is the supervisor manpower, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
Second?
McKeever,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
No.
Shaw,
Yes.
Myers,
No.
Wireball,
No.
Truca.
No.
Ordinance number 1-2019.
Okay, it fails to move beyond that. For the second and third reading of proposed ordinance number 2-2019, the employee manpower, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Wireball,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Truca,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2-2019.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 2-2019?
So moved.
Second?
McKeever,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Truca.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2-2019 is duly adopted. For the second and third readings of proposed ordinance number 3-2019, which is the veterinary office zoning amendment, Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
I'm sorry, this is regular legislation. There is no emergency on this one. So we'll start over. For the second and third readings of proposed ordinance number 3-2019, veterinary office zoning amendment, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules and waive the reading of the caption and text?
So moved.
Second.
Wireball.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Foote.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
McKeever.
Yes.
Ordinance number 3-2019.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 3-2019?
So moved. Second.
McKeever.
Yes.
Foote.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Wireball.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Ordinance number 3-2019 is duly adopted. For the second and third reading of proposed ordinance number 4-2019, which is the elected official salaries, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Wireball.
Yes.
McKeever.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Foote.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Ordinance number 4-2019.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 4-2019?
So moved.
Second.
McKeever.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Wireball.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Foote.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Ordinance number 4-2019 is duly adopted. For the second and third reading of proposed ordinance number 5-2019, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules and waive the reading of the caption and text and declare it an emergency? This is the street levy renewal.
So moved.
Second.
Myers.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
McKeever.
Yes.
Wireball.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Foote.
Yes.
Ordinance number 5-2019.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 5-2019?
So moved.
Second.
McKeever.
Yes.
Foote.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Wireball.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Ordinance number 5-2019 is duly adopted. For the second and third reading of proposed resolution 201-2019, which is the street levy renewal, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Wireball.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Foote.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
McKeever.
Yes.
Resolution number 201-2019.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed resolution 201-2019?
So moved.
Second.
Foote.
Yes.
McKeever.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Wireball.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Resolution 201-2019 is duly adopted. Thank you very much. We got all that done. Unfinished business. Who has unfinished business to bring up this evening? Anyone? None? Okay, moving on. New and miscellaneous business. Monday, January the 21st is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The city offices are open on that day. On Thursday, January the 24th, the Board of Building Standards and Appeals meeting is at 4 p.m. up here in council chambers. Monday, February the 18th is President's Day. City offices are open on President's Day. Thursday, February the 28th is the Bucyrus Chamber of Commerce 2019 Business and Industry Forecast Breakfast from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. out at Pickwick Place. Cost is $20. And you can call the chamber to make your reservations for that if you would like to attend. It's always interesting hearing what the local businesses are doing. They usually have about 8 or 9 that give up and give you a little review of what's been going on with various businesses in town. Anything else under new and miscellaneous business for this evening? None? We're all here tonight. Joint regular committee meetings. All referrals from this council meeting and any open project list items may be discussed during the committee meeting, which will be this Thursday evening at 6 p.m. The referrals are,
We have 6 new referrals. We have the reappointment to the Planning Commission from Council to Economic Development. We have the bidding request for the Group 2 sewer project from the Service Safety Director to Planning and Finance. We have the mutual fire aid agreement from the Service Safety Director to Health and Safety and Finance. We have the AEP agreement from the Service Safety Director to Service. That will not be on the agenda Thursday. That'll be February 7th. We have the enterprise fund reimbursements, that is from the auditor to finance, and we have one appropriation from the auditor to finance. Already in committee and on the agenda for Thursday is the consent agreement for the North Sandusky Rehab Project. That's in Public Lands and Buildings and Finance. We have the farmland bids, comes up every 4 years, that is in Public Lands and Buildings. And we have the breathing apparatus bid for the fire department, that is in Finance. And material bids is being held until the next round in 2 weeks. That's what we have.
okay, thank you very much. Do I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Foat. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Opposed, say no. We're adjourned at 7:46 PM.